Welcome back, learners. We're going to continue our conversation about our five senses. Today, we're looking at our sense of taste. Now, our sense of taste is a really fun sense because we get to use it to enjoy so many things like food and yummy treats and snacks, and best of all probably is ice cream. Before we jump into our lesson about taste, I want to know what you guys know about taste. So I want you to think about your very favorite flavors. Maybe it's your favorite meal, maybe it's your favorite flavor of ice cream. I also want you to think about your least favorite flavors. What's that yucky thing that you hate having to eat? Now, once again, when you describe these flavors, you may not use the words good or bad. You can say that they make you want to do something. You can say that it reminds you of something. You can say that it smells like something, but you cannot use the words good or bad. We're going to have to think of other ways to talk about these flavors that we have. I hope you had a great discussion about your favorite and least favorite flavors. Now let's talk about what are these flavors called. Most people agree that there are about 5 to 6 different flavors that are on our tongue. Now, our tongue is made out of lots of little things called taste buds. And if you ever look at your tongue in the mirror, you can see that it's covered in all these little bumps. Now, each of those bumps is assigned a flavor. There will be a bump for tasting sweetness, another one for tasting sour things, another one for tasting salty things. Now, when all of these different taste buds work together, they can tell your brain what is going on your tongue. So the main flavors are salty, which of course is things like salt, soy sauce, olives, a lot of different things are salty. We also have sweetness, which you guys know very well. That's the thing that makes your candy and your sugar so desired because you love the taste of sweetness on your tongue. We also have sour. Sour is things like maybe a lemon or those sweet and sour candies. A lot of sour things will make you go, wow, that was sour. Next we have bitter. Bitter is that flavor that's in coffee or a lot of adult drinks. It kind of almost hurts on the back of your throat, but in a very nice way once you get to be an adult, because our taste buds do change. A lot of adults really enjoy that bitter flavor of coffee, and I don't know why. I know that I love coffee, and it is very bitter, but I still love it. All right, another flavor is a savory flavor. This could be a flavor that sort of stays on your tongue for a long time, like it comes from eating steak, or meats have a lot of savoriness. Things that are both salty and sweet can sometimes be savory. Soy sauce is a great example of something that's salty and savory at the same time. So savory is that flavor that stays on your tongue for a long time. And then finally, there's spicy. Now, spicy is a very interesting flavor because it's an acid, and the acid is actually meant to hurt us. The pepper plant right here developed this acid as a way to protect itself from getting eaten, because the plant figured, well, as long as it hurts if you eat my fruit, then animals won't want to eat that fruit anymore. Well, humans came along and they tried it and they said, ooh, I kind of like that tingly, spicy flavor on my tongue, and even though it kind of hurts, I still kind of like it. So now people grow peppers all the time to eat them, and instead of protecting the pepper from getting eaten, it made it want to get eaten more. So I don't know if any of you guys love spicy food. I know that I do. I keep a bottle of my Cholula's hot sauce handy all the time. So let's look at how the taste bud works with these flavors. So let's look again at our example here of the soup. Now, what happens is if you get a piece of, let's say, some carrot that comes in, we'll use this shape for carrot. So a piece of carrot comes into your mouth, and what are you gonna do? First, you're gonna chew it. And as you're chewing, another thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna start getting saliva in your mouth. You're gonna start getting spit forming up in your mouth. And that saliva, that spit, is the very first step of your digestive process, because saliva is really good at breaking down those pieces of food. So you're chewing it, Your saliva is soaking it, your saliva makes it soft and breaks it apart. So now, whatever you were chewing is in much smaller pieces. Those pieces are so small that when they touch one of your taste buds, which looks like this, when they touch one of your taste buds, that little tiny piece covered in saliva will go down inside of your one taste bud right here, and that shape will connect to the nerves, which will then send a signal up to your brain, letting you know that you're having a piece of carrot. Now this all happens at the same time all over your tongue. Your whole tongue is getting covered with chewed food, lots of saliva, all those little pieces, the salt, the spicy, the pepper, the savory, the umami, all these different flavors are hitting your tongue at the same time. And each taste bud is doing its work to release saliva. That saliva gets into the food, breaks it apart, and then little pieces are gonna go down into your tongue, enough for it to say, oh, I know that shape, I know what that is, and it'll send a signal up to your brain and let you know what you're tasting. Now we know how that sense of taste works. Let's try some of these things that I still have out from my last video. Here is some of the honey. That is super yummy. So honey has a very nice long-lasting flavor because of it's kind of thick, so it stays on your tongue for a long time, and it's sending a lot of sweetness down. Sweetness signals to my brain. So I'm enjoying it, that's very good. And also, it has a very smooth feeling in my mouth. So as you know, we're talking about our five senses, and our sense of touch on our tongue is a very important part of when we eat and how we enjoy things, right? We like a certain amount of crunchiness, or a certain amount of softness, or even if it's warm or cold. We wouldn't want warm ice cream or a cold steak, right? So our sense of feel is very important when it comes to experiencing food and our flavor. So I liked how the honey felt on my tongue. It felt very smooth. Okay, next up, let's try a piece of tomato that I have here. This is tomato I grew from my garden, so I'm very excited. Smells very rich. And then I'm gonna take a bite. It's so fresh. It reminds me of being outside and working in the garden. I love that. And it's got a nice little crunchiness to it too, like my teeth gonna have to bite through it. Also very, very nice. Here is some of the cucumber. It's got a nice sweetness, not too much though. Excuse me. Not like the sweetness of the honey. This is a very light sweetness, almost like a watery, planty sweetness. It's very refreshing. Okay, now time for some lemon. This one's gonna be interesting. Oh. Okay, that's very sour, and it made me have a reaction of like, pulling back from it. Even though I like it, if it was mixed with a little bit of sugar, maybe some honey, I think it would be much better because those two flavors work well together. But on its own, I can't really say I recommend it. All right, next up is the slice of apple. And apple automatically has that great sweetness, a really nice crunchiness, talking about the feel. And very refreshing. I can feel that it's got a lot of water in it. All right, next up, this one is raw garlic, okay? Garlic grows like this in the ground. Now this is a seasoning or a spice almost that people use a lot to flavor their cooking. It's got a lot of very strong flavor. And when you cook it, the flavor changes, becomes a little bit softer, but it's a savory, long-lasting flavor. So I'm just gonna take, this is so strong, I'm just gonna take a tiny, tiny little bit of this raw garlic, only this much, and even this, if you've ever had raw garlic before, you know that even this might be a lot. And that immediately very kind of bitter on my tongue, and now it kind of burns in my throat as I swallow it. And that's kind of a long-lasting flavor, like I can still taste it even though I've already swallowed it. Now my fingers feel all sticky. Okay, so that covers a lot about our flavor. Oh no. I just saw there's one more. Uh-oh. the pepper. Okay. I do this for you guys. So I'm gonna take some pepper. Oh God, I'm scared. Okay, here we go. Okay, already I'm starting to hurt my tongue. It feels like feels like little needles almost poking in. I kind of like it. It's exciting, but now it's starting to spread. This heat. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow, that's spicy. Okay. I'm also starting to sweat from eating that because of that heat. And like I said, the pepper made itself spicy as a way to protect it. So that spiciness, it's called capsaicin, and it's actually a poison. And that poison is supposed to make you feel sick with the pain. That's kind of good. It's spicy, but it's good. I'm gonna have just a little bit more. So, oh my gosh. So that spiciness, like I said, it's a poison for us. And my body wants me to push it out, so I'm gonna start sweating. I'm gonna start coughing. My body's trying to reject it and warn me that it's not good. And wow, the burning. Oh my gosh. It burns so much. You can tell I'm really starting to sweat. All right, so flavor, a lot of fun, a lot of great experiences. I hope you guys can talk about flavors with your friends and your family and describe how good it is. Please don't try this at home. It is really, I need to go get a glass of milk. I'll see you guys next week. We're gonna keep talking about our 5 senses.